Welcome everybody to the second half of the end of TEW 2020 overview. As in this video, we're going to go over the rest of the wrestling world, give some final thoughts before we begin the fun, long process of moving everything over to TEW9 and give some plans on that. So basically, again, as I said, what I'm going to do is we're going to do this video, then hopefully by the start of the year, I'll have everything ready, maybe before that. But even if I'm before that, I still might not restart it till January, mainly for the fact of, well, holidays, Christmas, all that fun stuff. I'm going to have other stuff on the channel. Basically, this is just going to be like sort of like a reboot of things. I'm also planning to basically do a couple of videos giving the history of this version of WCW in like sort of like, 2001 and 2002 in this WCW in under 10 minutes, just so if anybody like actually begins like with the new series, in TEW9, they can go back and look over things and just sort of get a quick little what the hell is this world and what's going on. Also, you probably got this notification along with the video itself, or if you came across it, whatever. I also did, in the community tabs, have basically a Q&A thread for anybody who wants some questions about the like the turnover, the like booking process, last 5 years, just to see if anybody's interested in that. If not, no big deal. Also, going to probably post something on Reddit. Just for fun. But yeah, let's get rolling here. As we went over WCW, so we're going over WWF. This is probably going to be shorter than usual because, of course, if you watch the SummerSlam video, you just saw me doing a lot on the WWE. So, I mean, still first in the world. Their size, is enormous. Like, I mean, ironically, I hurt them by only having a 94 SummerSlam. But, like, yeah, they've basically hit their peak. But part of it is, like, basically, just sort of like, they're slowly losing people, and so first their titles. Of course, World Heavyweight Champion is still Chris Jericho. He won it at WrestleMania. The AIs weirdly didn't have him defend the title after Judgment Day. Who knows? Your World Tag Team Champions are Current Carnival, aka Homicide, and Lino and Michael Murray, aka Spanky. They win the titles off Dreamer and Reiner, who've been a weirdly dominant tag team in this version of reality. So yeah. They also won them at the last SummerSlam. We'll see if they keep them for longer than a month this time. So yeah, there's that. Intercontinental Champion is Mark Henry, of course, Dominic Christian. Okay, so again, some back doing stuff. I was going to do Adam Ortiz this time around, like who I set it up, but then I realized he's a regen. I have no real picture for him, and I didn't want to dig through it. So is what it is. But we'll see if the game actually books Henry strong. I hope so, because I've tried off and on, and this is sort of like the change, sort of from a work rate title to a more like standard title, but we'll see. And of course, your women's champion is Veronica Vane. Again, we'll see what the game does for that. So, let's see here. Stables. The Quill Crew is the only stable. If we look inactive, so I basically killed a couple stables. So, let's see here. Oh no, that's it. Okay, interesting. Let's see here. Feuds. Yeah, they're storylines because of course I just stopped. Their product is now Episodic Entertainment. Episodic Entertainment is 80% matches, 20% angles for events. TEW is 60-40, less than 10 minutes. Lengthy matches lose the audience. I forget what this is supposed to be. It's going to be attractive for binge-watching TV viewers, strong characters. I mean, I guess this is sort of like Lucha Underground, so sure. But yeah, I'm just going to do, this is, not as big of a, thing I would usually do because I just did with WWE, but we'll go over stuff and sort of give some overviews. So instead of, so we'll just go through perceptions and then we'll go from there. So major stars, of course, Batista, he just got a big win over Edge at SummerSlam. So we'll see if the AA books him actually toward the top. It's been pretty solid. He's 19-11, but he's basically his losses have been, it looks like mostly tag matches. I don't see him actually doing many singles jobs. Actually, has he lost as a singles at all? Basically, he lost the Intercontinental title, and since then, he has not lost a singles match. That's interesting. Good job, Booker. Good job, AI. Big Show, who is still stupidly over. Again, I've gone over this, but I don't have anything to do, and but he's still dominant. He's 28-9. I mean, a lot of these are just random squash wins. He's beat JC Daz 3 times during over the summer. Brock, he's still stupidly over. his contract is up in 4 months, and I'm just going to be honest with you. If I can sign him, I'm going to sign him just because like that would be a huge deal. And like I think it's realistic. Brock would jump in this world where like there's actually competition since he's not like WWE lifer, at least at this point in reality. But yeah, I mean he's Brock. He's great. He still never loses. Let me see here. Again, is he somebody who has actually lost a singles match? I don't think so. I can look over things. Maybe there's something I'm missing, but I don't think so. Benoit, of course, this is a world where hopefully Benoit doesn't do Benoit things. Something I just noticed here is like he has creative control in his contract, which is absolutely interesting. But despite this, I don't know if the AI actually like sets this up because he's done plenty of losses, but he's also like, again, he's somebody else who I don't think has dropped a direct singles match. Well, okay, he lost to Lesnar, but Lesnar's like 99 over, and he lost to Jericho, and Jericho's more over him. So again, that's actually somewhat makes sense. Jericho's, of course, the world champion. He also has creative control. Jesus Christ. Okay, Vince. Those eventually you're going to run into some issues, I think, or at least I hope so. Maybe in TW9 he actually will. So yeah, but I mean, like again, Jericho's still really Jericho's really good. Again, in this reality, this is his first world title run since they didn't have 2 world titles. So there we are. Edge, of course, just turned heel. We'll see how he does with that. He came back at WrestleMania, and we'll see what he does there. Again, it's interesting. Like, that's his first pinfall loss of the year as a singles. So yeah, I mean, he's actually, again, this is a world where he got strongly pushed during 2001, probably because the 2001 mod had better sets than he actually had in real life. So yeah, he was already feuding with guys like The Rock and such in this game. Also, I think I've mentioned it before, but in this world, sadly, Christian and Edge are not friends. So sad. Maybe Edge, tried to pick up Christian's wife because he tends to do that. But anyway, Molly Holly, stupidly over. She's with. Oh right, I forgot this. Okay, so instead of Edge and Beth Phoenix, it's Edge and Molly Holly in this reality. Sure, or Edge and Lita. Okay. I totally forgot this. I might actually put her in as a shock show up as because they're both all heels, so this actually makes sense now. I mean, Molly is great. She's actually not as great a worker. She's really good and she's really over, but I didn't sign her mainly because I thought it would just kill the women's division dead, and also I want to see what the game does with her over in the WWE. Sean, he's Sean. He's stupidly good. I forget the hatred thing. Let's see here. Oh, okay. Interesting. Why does... because Lita's with Triple H. Right. Okay. But yeah, I mean, Sean's still great. He's still very, very, very good. We'll see when he actually retires in game. But yeah, I mean, same thing. Came in as a heel, turned babyface. Fun stuff. We'll see what he does here. Austin's retired, but he's a road agent. I'm sure he shows up randomly on TV. And he's still 100 over, which, ironically is correct. Taker. Still solid. He's never, remember, this gimmick is sort of he returned as the dead man and now he's turned heel, so he's basically sort of medieval Taker. But yeah, beat Kane at WrestleMania, defeated Justice at a SmackDown. Yeah, again. And then Will Regal, who, okay, again, I think I'm explaining this on SummerSlam, but I forgot the game had turned him face, so I had Regal and Lesnar as a face heel program until I actually figured out, I think, in, the Go Home show. So basically, I'm just saying Lesnar will have turned face as due to respecting Regal. And Regal's really good here. He's on a stronger push than real life because he probably hasn't had the backstage stuff issues. Let me actually look at his... Okay. So he's all former, so he's better now. We'll see what he actually does here. But he's somebody who could actually get a world title run by the AI, just sort of by luck. So then, if we go down to stars, we got Christian, who's solid, has had a good career. He has a legendary gimmick. He's a heel. We'll see what he does here, especially post. I can either see the game either just giving the IC title back real quick, or actually trying to feud him with somebody in the main event. JBL. He's never had his world title run because of the lack of 2 titles. But in this world instead, he's had a long IC title reign, 4 tag title reigns, including 2 after the changeover to TEW. Vampiro, okay. Oh yeah, I forgot to do, I keep on forgetting to check out contract for people. Let me just do that real quick for folks, just so people can see. Batista's probably, well, 2 years, so who knows. Big Show, forever. Lesnar, like I said. Benoit and Jericho both. Edge, again, I didn't re-sign him, so we'll see what he does. Michael has another year. The only thing is why I think it would be reasonable for Michaels to come over is, in theory, like, him and Triple H are friends. He's probably not happy with the whole thing with Triple H leaving. So we'll see. Austin's Austin. Taker, again, I'm just treating as a WWE lifer. And Regal's who's somebody we might go after. But the thing is, like, I have too many over people. Like, again, like, somebody like Christian, well, like, solidly over, it would be like a mid-carder for me. Like, 77 is like, sort of like the Kidman, Helms level. And those guys are like very important part of my shows, but they're not like top tier guys. And same thing for oh yeah. And so Christian's, he's up in 3 years, so he'll be around for a while. JBL, somebody who I might bring in as sort of a curiosity, see altering universe. Keep on forgetting WWE signed all these people with creative control, so that's interesting. I mean, Vampiro's Vampiro, like, he's 39 already, he's sleazy. He still has a good charisma microphone, and he would be maybe interesting to come bring back, but, that's also 2 years away. So, well-knowns. All Money, Aaron Cartwright, aka Easy Money, came in, he's being built, like, decently. Let me actually just do his WWF only. So, yeah, I mean, he's been getting wins, like, beat Cut Justice a couple times, which is interesting. Got someone's on SmackDown I was booking, and we'll see what the game does with him. He's not great as far as, like, mic skills, but he has good in-ring time, so we'll see what he does. Carnage Gall, aka Homicide. 6 months left, but, if I'll see what, like, WWE does with him. He has good microphone skills, which is probably part of why he's getting over. Not the greatest worker, which, honestly, kind of true. Like, Homicide was always one of those guys who I thought was overrated by the internet. Like he has great moments, but, like, sort of like his whole Ring of Honor's How to Run sort of shows, like, he's actually, ironically, Homicide is a great character, but not a great worker. Like, ironically, like, I think in a world where Vince wasn't Vince, and, like, he didn't have these, like, weird thoughts about size and such, that actually Homicide could have had a very fun run in WWE. Maybe not at this time because it's too early in his career, but, like, a whole like early mid 2010s Homicide run could be very interesting because he is a good character guy. CM Punk is CM Punk. Like, obviously, he's getting a very big push here. 4 months left. I'll probably not, like, I might go after him just for fun, even just to, like, to push up the price for WWE, but probably not totally because, again, like, I like my roster. I like the people I'm building up. If I get to a point where when people are up, I'm like, if I can see a reason for Punk to be on, like, if I can figure out feuds, like, if I can, like, think of this version of CM Punk versus the version of very people I have, then maybe I'll try to go for him. Otherwise, like, because I don't want this, again, I love the series, but, like, sort of, like, Swirls, who is another TW YouTuber, him with his buddy Nick, Dave Davis, like, on his own, he's played WCW and, like, WCWF, and also AEW's WWE, because the AI is not great. At least TEW 2020 AI is not great at, like, actually fighting for people. So, like, I'm okay, like, pushing people's, like, contracts up just for fun, but, like, we'll see as far as that goes. DDP is gone in 4 months. I've already put him, given time off, and he'll be likely be gone unless he's, like, comes back and, like, I don't know if the game will re-sign him. We'll just have to see about that. Jackie Gata, surprisingly over. I think after Molly, she's the most over woman on the roster, and she has, like, no good stats. Like she's being, like, weirdly strongly pushed. Like, 51-2. I mean, this is, like, she must have a great Destiny stat. In this version of reality, she's sleeping with Vince McMahon. I don't want to be sick like that, but, this sort of is the only other reason to explain it. Cornette's around. He's Cornette. Like, honestly, those mic skills are probably a little low. He's currently just a color commentator. One thing I have to do with changeover to now is figure out who's actually going to be a manager, because with the AI putting people as managers for people, that will sort of, like, mess with stuff if they choose badly. Like, right now, he's managing Juvie Juice, which I totally forgot I did, or did the game do? I forget this. Michael Cole is Michael Cole. Mick Foley's retired. Showed up for the pay-per-view, but I'll probably when I turn over, I'll probably turn off occasional wrestler for him, and just like make him a pure backstage guy, because otherwise the game books him weirdly. Orton came back. I'm sure in game he'll quickly rise up to like a major star again. He's just been off TV for a while. And look, these skills are about right for mid 2000s Randy Orton. Like, honestly, probably even better than they should be. Also, everybody has creative control. Jesus Christ. I would not booking a long-term save with this would be interesting. Scott, he has another year left. He's, unfortunately, his stats have been to fall off a cliff, but, his still charisma's good, so we'll see what the game does with him. Shane's not, really a guy. Scott Leon, A. Paris, unfortunately, with no longer really being connected to Punk or Michaels, we'll see how well he does on his own. He has 5 months left. He might be somebody who ends up in Impact. Stephanie. Taz is a color commentator, so he is what he is. Gladiator has a year left. We'll see if the game books him, or if the TEW chooses him, uses him as an old guy and starts to job him. We'll see. And of course, Mr. McMahon, he's Mr. McMahon. Recognizable. So we got Albert, has 9 months left and is sort of just a guy. Amber James, aka Amber O'Neil. Who is Amber O'Neil dating? Outside the wrestling industry. Okay, sure. She's solid, helped from being RTF territory forever. Match history wise, sort of very strongly pushed for a lot of pre-show stuff. And we'll see what she does after getting, there. Ariel Belmont, unfortunately, really good mic skills, especially for her popularity. And she's there for a while, so not coming over anytime soon. Beth Phoenix, of course, somebody who I had, but I couldn't really book properly. So she ended up going back down to our dev fed and then leaving. She was in OVW, debuted at the start of the year, and we'll see what she does. Maybe the game will push her strong because of her underlying stats, or not. We'll just have to see. She's somebody who I might chase after, but we'll also have to see where our women's division is at the end of the year. Billy Gunn, I assume he'll start to be pushed by the game. Still has good psych, but yeah. Devon DeBoy, somebody else who might be pushed down by the game because of his age. Well, he's only 34. I always forget the Dudleys are younger than you think, especially at this time, just because they felt like they've been around forever because of their ECW run. So we'll see. Farouk, I might actually change him to an occasional or non-wrestler, because Farouk in 2006 should not be wrestling weekly. Hardcore Holly, who actually is retired and is doing nothing because he has bad stats. I might actually have the game release him and just see what he does. Ivory, who is somebody else I've given time off because her her run is over here. We'll see what he does. Jacqueline, who weirdly is now a color commentator and just is Coachman, who's around. I think he's in game he's a backstage commentator. What I might do is remove his color stats and have just his charisma and mic stats makeup and put him on the announcing, maybe at the start of the year. Justice is of course the Abyss. Good hardcore stats. Good charisma, good mic stats. Again, he's somebody else who, if we were in trouble, we would sign, but I'm interested to see what the game does with him. Juventud, look at those stats. Aerial 92, Spontaneous 98, Psychology 91. This is actually sort of a better version of Juice in real life. The only thing is, I think he still his work personality type is still not the best. Former painkiller abuser, do I believe that? Maybe not. But yeah, we'll see. He's been sort of stuck in mid-card hell because he's Juventud Guerrero in 2006 WWE. Kevin Kelly, announcer. Leonardo McMurray. Spanky, really good stats. Decent charisma. Good star quality, so might be strongly pushed. Mark Henry, again, 2 years, 4 months left. We'll see what happens with his push here, see if something happens. Rhino, the former multi-time tag team champion. What I might do is end their team with Tommy Dreamer and just see how they do on their own. Rikishi is somebody who is likely not to be gone after the next contract, if I have anything to say about it. Steven Richards, who has very good stats here, like very good brawling, like much better stats than I think they would have in real life. I would like to like sort of like bring up like a 2006 mod just to see like whose like stats are much better, much worse. Terry Runnels, she's around. Test, another person who's lasted a lot long. Well, he did he? I forget. Anyway, good menace, good basics, like not much of else. Tommy Dreamer, somebody else who's lasted a lot longer than they did in real life. Tori, who is, I think, she's currently on a TV thing. She lost pop since she's gone over? No, okay. Val Venus, somebody else who I assume will be gone after the next contract, but like, yeah. Or will start being unpushed. Veronica Vane, your new women's champion. Good stats because help for our dev fed. And yeah, there we go. Unimportant. So, these people we might really fight by. Adam Jacob has some decent stats, but he's been used as a jobber. And Ortiz is a regen, has some good brawling. We'll see if he does anything. Andy Douglas is a guy, is one half of the Future Naturals. Good aerial, decent star quality. Probably will not do much. Basher is somebody who's on their way out. Only has 3 months left. Billy Real, the real thing, is about to debut on TV. We'll see what he does. Curly Cool, unfortunately, has not had the push he's had in real life. So there's 2 years left, so maybe he can be built up to something. Because he has good charisma, not great microphone, but I mean, that actually makes sense. Good star quality, so hopefully that'll see the game push him strong. Chet Decker and Dean Harland, the Omega Beatdown crew. Only 3 months left on their contracts, which is interesting. This might be a case of like in 10 years, like, you know, the podcast, remember those guys who were in OVW forever, then they got like a 3 months run on the main roster and were released. Christian York, who of course has been a tag champion, but is still not that over. Christy Cummings, I mean, look, folks. I mean, she hasn't done much. She's also still on a handshake deal, which I might turn over to a written deal just because like I don't know why she was signed to a handshake deal. Chucky T, Robbie C, Ricky M, the new the new club crew. We'll see if they do they do anything. Cody Hawk, who's of course Hawk and Animal. Yes, I did that. It was dumb, but we'll see. Like he only has 6 months renaming. Cody himself, I think, all has over a year. Crash has 2 years left. He did not die like he did in real life. Danger Dragon, aka Inside Dragon, aka guy who got signed to OVW and is now up on the main roster. Danny Doring, who's Daring Doring, doing a cocky youth gimmick, undercard jobber. David Flair, who got signed, but I don't know what else he's going to be doing. Ekmo and LA Smooth, aka Simone Gangster Squad, who unfortunately never got the push. I tried to have the push him. Let's see here. Fit Finley, he's a occasional wrestler and also, a road agent when I'm around. Jamie Keys, your former women's champion. I mean, good psychology, which is weird, but I mean, actually decent stats. Oh, I never saw this. Star quality of 1. Okay, let me actually note that. Jamie Keys, star quality fix. Holy shit, no wonder she never got booked well by the game. Okay, that makes a lot more sense. That acting, I am questionable about. Jillian Hall, again, decent stats, good diva for this era. John Cena, of course, has been sort of the weirdest thing because he was out on the indies forever, was stuck in OVW forever, and just I think he debuted, in the last year. Yeah, he debuted near the end of this year. So by time Cena was already basically Cena, he just debuted. So we're sort of doing 2003 Cena and 2006. We'll see if that works out. I mean, he's still Cena, so he still has great stats as far as charisma and microphone. Wrestling stats is a little less, but honestly, that sort of is, makes sense for good Cena. And by good Cena, I mean 2006 to 2010 Cena, not indie Cena. John Morrison, who will make his debut. Let's see how the game books him. We'll see if the T09 booking is better at booking underneath people to the top. Johnny Grunge is somebody who is, I'll be honest, I just left on because he's a kid wrestler already. Just Incredible is somebody who's out of here. Angela Skura, aka Sarah Stock. She's somebody who I might try to sign up if she's available. Also might depend on what my roster looks like at that point. Lance Cade. Matt Capitelli is somebody who I'm probably going to have to get rid of in game because I can't book cancer. I can't book cancer away, unfortunately. That just sort of happens, unfortunately. Matt Classic, aka Cole Cabana, who's been an undercard guy forever here, which is weird. Maven, who has the odd couple tag team with Sandman, only 3 months left, but he'll probably be re-signed for the game. Nick Dinsmore, who's been undercard here as Nick Dinsmore. Unfortunately, he has the Eugene picture, but he's just been used as Nick Dinsmore here. Rick Steiner, who is somebody else who's gone in 6 months. I didn't fire him because that would make Scott Steiner sad, so he just has 6 months off, which hopefully the game will not re-sign him. Let's see here. Shaniqua, who's around. Chantel Fierce, who's around. Shark Boy, will never get his, indie cred run in TNA. Spike Dudley, who is also somebody who might not have that much time left. He actually has some decent stats, but also he's 36. Taylor Matheny, who I gave time off to get rid of her. Let's see here. Tony Mamluk, who's, I think, a recent signing. And X-Pac, who's also somebody who, oddly, is around still. Let's see here. Is there a way to see their dev roster? I don't think there is. Okay. So we'll just have to go through their dev roster as a way of going through things. Also, yeah. Here's the people that I released. Wait, who is Rich Young? Oh, right. He was a... Oh, it's Ricky Ortiz. Jesus Christ. I didn't realize who this guy was. Okay. Interesting. Sorry. Anyway, so Mario Giannetti we released. Blue Boy released. Grandmaster Sexy we released. Mafia Mac released. Selena Majors we released. Trent Baker we released from OVW, so it did Rich Page. And we also released Crowbar. Just because these are people with not that much time left, who I thought they basically, hopefully I don't have to do this with TEW not as much, but the game just loves to keep people forever. So that's the issue. But that's WWE, so let's move on to, of course, the other big company in pro wrestling today, your friend and mine, Impact Wrestling. So, of course, for people who do not remember, Impact Wrestling was something I made up as basically Hulk Hogan, who, of course, never had his WE run here because I guess just there was never the reason to because competition was still with WCW. And, of course, we never brought him because we're not stupid. So he just sort of hung out on the outside of wrestling. So this is him, basically putting some of his money. And then, of course, in canon, Triple H cheated on Stephanie with Lita. He eventually got, let go at the end of his contract. We didn't sign him basically because we just wanted to see what he would do here as a booker, as 2005, as 2006 Triple H. And then the Impact roster is sort of a misfit toy sort of thing. So, your champions are, your world champion is Paul Levesque, who has beaten Hulk Hogan, the Marcus Miltech, in a rematch. Your world tag team champions are Disco Inferno and Ernest Miller. Your Impact X champion is Alex Shelley. And your Divas champion is Serena Deeb. So we'll take a quick look at the roster here. Also, Impact Wrestling is back. It's on TNT, but I'll probably fix that because they shouldn't be. Size-wise, if we track their progress. So, since the beginning of the year, slow rise basically everywhere. At least they haven't been losing population, stuff like Southeast. So they might actually get competitive. Let's see here. A quick look at the roster. So, major stars. Carstensen, a.k.a. the former Reno, who of course was on our roster forever. Actually getting a decent push by the game here. Is actually pretty over, so that makes sense. Deborah, who's just, she's Deborah. Member of the Architects. Really over. Or not over, but really, has good sexy build stats. Hulk Hogan, who, yes, We Live in a World, where at least according to the game, Deborah and Reno are just as over as Hulk Hogan. And there's Paul Levesque, the game. Yeah. Hatred, cheating, breakup. Wait, what was the insults? Oh. I never saw this. This is hilarious. But yeah. Oh, also, yes. So, Triple H and Stephanie broke up after Form was caught cheating with Lita, and then Lita and Triple H broke up after Form was caught cheating with Kid Cash. So, yeah, this game does not think Lita is a good person. Anyway, he's Paul Levesque in 2005. We'll see if he can, be a good star here. Stars include Alex Shelley, who was recently signed, who's decently over. Bruce Beefcake, who is here because Hulk Hogan is here, like that's what it is. Buff Bagwell, who is here because we don't want him and WWE never signed him. Don Murray, who's here as manager of Nick Nemeth. Jason Vex, who's the Jason Cross, who's basically the top indie guy in this universe. So we'll see what he does. Jerry Lynn, who's around, he had a run with us in WWF, and is now down here where he belongs on a competition show. Lex Luger, who's terrible, and who probably is going to be de-pushed by the game like hell. Marcus Meltek, who's a regen, who has had some actually decent stats, and now has no good star quality, but has some decent stats. We'll see what he does. Scott Steiners, she's with, she has Nazaja Munsters, who's Aiden, Harrison, Heinrich, and Reeves. Forgot Reeves. Perry Saturn, who's here because we didn't want him, and he's not over enough, so he's on the indies. Funaki, who got let go by WWE, but is not over enough for us to care, so here he is. He actually is a pretty good worker, so he'll probably be decently pushed by the game. Recognizable includes Al Snow, weirdo legendary gimmick. We'll see what the game does do with him. Apollo, who was going to be strongly pushed by TNA in real life. He never got really good. He's been in Puerto Rico forever. Not the best stats, but we'll see. Disco Inferno Ernest Miller. They're Disco Inferno and Ernest Miller. George, of course, who was David Flair's manager in game, but then David left, so she might be gone. I just might release her and set her as off screen because, but this guy in real life, she was out of wrestling. Because for people who don't remember, she was Randy Savage's girlfriend in 2001, so she was in 2001 in sort of the death throes of WCW. I don't think she showed up again, but maybe she did. But Crystal Marshall, who's here because she has good sex appeal. Be honest here. Lash LaRue, Miss Jackson, who is managing Jay Lethal, Shiver, the former Glacier, and Steve Kern, who's a road agent. Let's see here. Wait, was that really recognizable? Okay. I thought I forget it's a smaller roster. So unimportant guys. We've got Alexander Atkinson, who is a regen, who has missed stats, but is only 3 years experience. Good charisma and good microphone, though. Amazing Red, who's Amazing Red. He'll help. We'll see how he does here. He's a member of the Hulkamaniacs. Brent Albright, who's Brent Albright. Solid stats. We'll see what he does. Candice Michelle, who's here because sex appeal. Christian Nowinski, who's here and might never end up becoming a guy who talks a lot about concussions. Chris Tiemi, who is here because of sex appeal, because WWE never hired her. Cindy Rogers, who's not terrible, but who's I always forget. Right, her and yes, Cindy, you're dating a non-real person. I'm sorry. CJ Lane, who did she become somebody or did she just look like somebody? Claudia Solis, who is somebody who looks like a regen, sounds like a regen, but was real. Anyone was a wrestler this time. Derek Serraro, who is a regen, but good flashiness. Not great anything else. Good. So he has 66 aerial and 83 flashiness, which means he probably does not the greatest aerial moves, but he does them really awesome. He probably has an awesome 450 splash, but if you ask him to do a corkscrew moonsault, he'll fuck it up. Is what I sort of imagine. Good star quality, which is I found a decent picture for him. El Condor, who's the former Ray Gonzalez. Not that Ray Gonzalez. But yeah. Just a guy. Fabi Apache, who's here to sort of make up the numbers in the women's division. Frankie Zarin, who's young. Let's see here. Trent Singh, who's here and did have a partner, but is no longer here. Heinrich and Harrison, they went over. We'll see if they hang around. Jay Lethal, who has some good stats. Decent star quality, but I don't know if the game will push him correctly. Jesus Kilo Jr., who's also a member of the Hulkamaniacs, because why not? Mary Canellis, who's here again because of sex appeal, no star quality, we'll see. Mario Herring, who's a regen, who's a announcer. Mike Sampson, who was a longtime Midwest indie guy who just got signed up by Impact. Mikey Henderson, who of course was a West Coast indie guy. Nick Nemeth, you know him, he's by Don Marie. We'll see if he does anything here. Pat Buck, who actually didn't become actually famous till I think 10 years later in TNA. Quiet Storm, who's Quiet Storm. Reeves, Ryback is here. Managed by Najaja. Good star quality, good menace. We'll see if he does anything. Roadkill, who's sort of here, I think, just to make up the numbers. Trinity, who's your Divas champion. The former, oh god, what was her name in, what was her gimmick name? I forget, but, you know. Sick Boy, who's Sick Boy. Sofia Velasquez, who's another regen. Good star quality, good sex appeal, not great at anything else. Talia Madison, the future Velvet Sky. Trinity, not that Trinity, that Trinity. And then also Trinity McRae, who's the former future Naomi, who I'm not sure wasn't actually in wrestling at this point, but we'll see. So yeah, a couple other quick notes. Of course, tag teams. We have, of course, the immortal Cajun Sushi, who I made up, and who I hope the game actually books well. Like, I might take over if the game refuses to book Cajun Sushi. Let's see here. Stables. Wait, what? Oh, right. Reset, there we go. So we have the Architects, which is Levesque, Shelley, Apollo, Nowinski, Kazarian, and Deborah. And the Hulkamaniacs, which is Hogan, Melotech, Shiver, Red, Jesus Castillo Jr. And yeah, that's about it, I think. Yeah, I mean, if we look at their best matches of all time, there seems to be something consistent here. So yeah, that is Impact Wrestling. So let's move on to Japan. So first we have New Japan, who is still the, let me see here. Yeah, I think they're still a top company. They're still owned by Onoki, even though I might change this in the changeover, have them owned by like TV Ashi. Because I want to do like sort of like a gimmick with Inoki being pushed out, because he would be very unhappy here, because like in real life this is sort of like the peak of Inokiism, just before like they got bought by Yukes, I think, or no, they got bought by Bushiroad from Yukes, and basically Inoki was pushed out, and we got, you know, the Gedo era, which is still going on. But in this world we have instead a world where Muto has been booking, and Muto's been booking some pretty well, but still some pretty oddly. So, your IJP heavyweight champion is Yuji Nagata. He finally got the win over Sasaki. And yeah, since then, let's see here. He won the title in May, and it's not, well, okay, May Thunder is not that bad. But yeah, sort of some like odd booking like schedules here. Your junior heavyweight champion is Bobby Roode. He has not defended the title since January. That's something I might actually like try to figure out, see if I can figure out a way to get some like better defense schedules. I might like mess with the defense. Like, I think probably there's either a combination of the what it says and how many defenses, and what the game has events set up as. Your tag team champions are Tenzan and Kojima, who beat Muto and Keiya finally for them in May 2005. So yeah, Koji held the titles forever. Then Bat held the titles from 04 to 05. Then they've held the title since then. So basically just back and forth between these two teams since friggin' 2000. Yeah, from 00 to 04, they held up tag belts. That's just dumb. Your junior heavyweight champions are Brother Yashi and Jun Ukiwara, won the titles off Gedo and Jado, who, yeah, I think, yeah, basically the titles, yeah. Okay, so actually not that bad. And your junior heavyweight champion, all right, I went over that. And your Best of the Super Juniors was, Liger just wins this every year and then does nothing else. Your tag lead champion has been Izuka Nagata, Jeff Beard, and Chris Candido, which is the weirdest booking I've seen in a while. And then G1 Climax was won by Nakanishi. So a couple, I'll just go over like sort of the big things here. Random people I'm not going to push over, but we'll just see. Okay, so major stars. So your major stars are, Inoki is not, I think, wrestled at all. Let me see here. No, okay, he's actually officially retired. Tenzan, I wish I had a way to bring up Japanese like popularity automatically, but yeah, I mean, pretty good, but he's never really got his push. Like, if I remember right, like, has he gotten like any sort of like, weirdly, yeah, also only 2 matches this year, which is very, very, like, in 4 years he has 32 matches. Very odd. Like, Liger's Liger, like, still like not like, yeah. Okay, I think what I'm going to do, I'll figure this out. So Sakuraba's been around for a couple years. Muto's Muto. He's actually like kept himself mostly out of, like, let me see here. If Muto has a singles match in like since, yeah, he has not had a actual singles match this year. Previous year, it's just tag title matches. Previous year, yeah, he is. Okay, that's kind of interesting. Okay, so yeah, his last, yeah, he had some All Japan. So actually, let me just do this. New Japan only. Yeah, he has not had a singles match in his New Japan career over the past couple years, which will probably change when we move over to TEW9. Sasaki's been Sasaki. He came back after basically like not working for a while. Let's see here, like 2005. Yeah, 2003 he came back. Let me see here. Yeah. This is not by me. This is done by the game, and he's basically immediately hired by Sasaki. Chono's Chono, you know. Tanaka is weirdly more over than I thought. Let me just look here. Yeah. Joshu's old. Is probably somebody who I hope the game depushes soon. I may change him into an occasional wrestler just sort of like make the game do that. Kashima's somebody who's should have been gotten a stronger push in game, but unfortunately, yeah, he's been stuck on the tag division. Nagata's Nagata. You know, he's the IWGP champion a little later than real life, but he's been like a consistent like build towards a top guy. If we look at the stars, Tanahashi, who weirdly is still not got that push. Like, if we look, like, he's got a tag title match. He beat Minoru Suzuki at a Super Juniors. He had a strong push in the G1 Climax. He had a junior heavyweight title match. And yeah, like, so hopefully the game should get him over the top with the changeover. Kevin Nash is here. Him and Hall are both here. I might make them actually team up, and see what they do here, because that'll be interesting. Koji Kanemoto, Koji, he's still great. Takeya, another guy who's been sort of screwed over by the weird booking of the AI, because he's been mostly in tag matches. You're good and well known. Let's see here. Yeah, Chris Hero is a weird thing because he got signed, I think, even before this, and he's been just in a consistent part of the tag division. He's never been if we go to sort of his tag title matches. Oh yeah. So he got a Super Juniors title shot, was in Super Juniors. And him and Nigel has had a team. And yeah, just sort of weird world where he eventually ended up in Japan. Hase is basically really, he should be an occasional wrestler at this point. But he's over in All Japan, so we'll see what happens with that. Keshin is around. Okay, so here's a weird thing, okay? And I still don't understand the booking of this. So, Nakanishi was a guy who was just around. He had some solid wins, but then he left at the end of 2005, which, whatever game. And then he was gone for most of 2006, but then the game just randomly hired him before the G1 Climax and had him just run through and win the G1 Climax title. So yeah, let me just go to Japan real quick. And he didn't get that great a bump out of doing that. So I'm just I don't know. We'll see what the game continues to book him, because now I sort of want to make a stable out of him. Suzuki, he's around. I think he is. I remember. Yeah. Okay. So he got recently signed by them. Right. Okay. Right. He was out of wrestling, I think. Ogawa, he's yeah. This is where Ogawa just sort of became a guy in New Japan. And also wrestle stuff like DDT and stuff. Nigel, again, somebody else who Heroes getting their ultimate career not in the Indies but over in Japan. Azuka, Nikado, Sushi, they're all guys. We've got a recognizable. Some weird folks, Baker Yegi, who's, I don't know. Bam Bam, who's old and probably should be let go, honestly. Blitzkrieg, who in this universe never got that computer programming job, so now he's here in New Japan. But oddly did not get pushed the way I think he would by the game. Bobby Roode, who's the IWGP Junior Heavyweight Champion, but is still Bobby Roode. So, weirdly pushed and not pushed at the same time. Brian Adams and Brian Clark, who are both here. I might in gaming have them get released. I'll see. Brother Yashi, who's had a weirdly strong run here in New Japan. Candido, who's been around. Let's see here. Gato and Jado, who are not the Gato and Jado in charge. Jeff Bearden, who is yeah. He's a guy. So let me actually see what him and Candido have done on his team. So yeah, since him and Candido have not done much as a team since sort of losing. Jinsei, who's around here, Murakami, Megan Tokyo. Oh right, he has a brain tumor. I never saw that. Yeah, but he returns in 9 months. So he's got that going for him. Kakahira, Onaga, Tomono Honda, who's a recent signing. He was in Noah, but now he's coming over to New Japan. We'll see what he does. And then Importance. Let's see here. Big Vudo is here. So is Evan Garita. Hiroki Gogo, of course, is still a young lion. Hugh Morris is around. Rob Rage is around. Roger Strong is here. And Yuji Hinio is here. Sure. If we look at the size, track progress, basically the same as far as size since the beginning of the year. We have our stables, which include Tenkozi, which is just Tenzan, Kojima, and Wing Nakamura as a lackey. Sekigun, which is our New Japan Army. Rikigun, which I'll probably turn into Blue Justice and move Chosu out. New Japan Black, which I should probably move Scott Hall into. Thank Killers, which no longer exists. The Junior Destruction Unit, which I probably should get rid of because, this sort of just its run should be over. And American Muscle, which is also inactive. So, I think that's it. Product, yeah, Strong Press Shoe. Yeah, Leatherface was there, but he left. Mr. Wall Street left. Scott Hall was hired, so yeah. New Japan is sending people on excursion to IWRG. Yeah, that's about it. New Japan's New Japan. They're doing well, but still some weird stuff by the AI. So then we can move on to Pro Wrestling Noah, who of course really kicked All Japan in the teeth by signing Kawada. So if we look at their titles real quick, titles. I said there we go. So JPW champion is Kenta Kobashi. He has had a long run since 2005, and he's fought guys like Marufuji, Kazurufucha, Taue, Misawa, Ogawa, Kawada, and Kenta. Big Kenta, not small Kenta. Junior Heavyweight Champion is Ricky Marvin, who beat Marufuji. Junior Heavyweight Champions are Mr. Kanzuki and Masao Inoue, and JC Tag Teams are Marishima and Rikyo. So this is going to be a less, more just interesting people, more than just going over everybody. Of course, major stars, Akiyama, Kobashi, Misawa, Kawada. You may have heard them. Oh, right, I'll go over stables and I'll go over everything else. So yeah, that is what it is. Stars, Fujita and Ogawa. So, Sleazy Ogawa, Fujita, who's around, who never gets his run in New Japan. So there we go. Well-knowns, let's see here. Nobody. I mean, honestly, that's realistic. Oh, wait, nope, sorry. I just clicked. So well-knowns, okay, so yeah. Kenta, Marufuji, Ricky Marvin, who's got a strong push here. Samoa Joe, who, this is where he ended up instead of, Ring of Honor and everything. Shane Douglas, who is still a good brawler and good charisma and actually really over. So, oh wait, that's USA. Sorry, my bad. I mean, Japan, he's still solidly over, but we'll see what he does at the end of his contract here. Kaguchi, who's still around even though he's old. Takayama, who's now old, honestly. Kanemaru. Let's see here. Recognizable. Anybody surprising? Horace Hogan. So yeah, this is where Hulk is going to end up. Johnny Cashmere, who's here as part of the indie scene. Steve Reno is here, sure. Steve Blackman is here. Teiji Suda, Morishima here as not a young guy, but also not getting the push he should probably. Unworking folks. Paul North is here as a road agent. I'll probably fix that. But yeah. Then if we look at our stables, nope, that size, sorry. We look at stables. So we have Dangerous K, which is sort of Kawada's stable, which is Kawada, Suzuki, Samoa Joe, and Sugiura, aka people can kick the shit out of you. The Emerald Army, which is Masawa, Ogawa, and Morishima. Rising Sun, which is Seto, Kenta, and Marufuji. And yeah, inactive pool, right? I need to change this to active. So yeah, that's Noah. If we look at their size, sorry, forgot to check that. You know, they're actually having some issues. Like if we look at Kento, they're slowly gaining, but they're losing in Tokyoku. So it's sort of like a whole mess, and they're like second behind New Japan. So like yeah, because New Japan never went through their Noki-ism period, like Noah's never got that like really strong push, even though they're still doing well and they're fourth in the world. So they do have that going for them. Should I do All Japan? All right, let me just reset things. So if we go from large to Titanic, I think I figured. Oh yeah, that's what I do was Mexico. Well, we'll do Mexico as sort of like an overview because I think they're the same size. So we'll just see here. Okay, no, Triple H is slightly bigger. So AAA, Lucha Entertainment, booked by Pena. Their titles again. America's Trios champions are Felino, Dr. Cerebro, and Arianto. Your champion to champions is Blue Jimmy Jr., who won it after Juvie didn't drop the titles, which honestly is realistic for Lucha. Your Mexican National Heavyweight Champion is Super Calo. National Champion is Volador Jr. and Olympio. And your Rey Reyes was won by Semereco this year, after they actually finally brought it back. Which, again, honestly makes sense for... So, let me just do this. So, let me just go over folks as far as like where they... Okay, major stars, Blue Jimmy Jr., Semereco, Elkanek, Garza, each of them right now. Let's see here. Stars. Anybody really surprising? Not really. Well-knowns. Konan's here, but like he's sort of like in the mid-card, which honestly kind of makes sense. Vampire Warrior. Okay, Gangrel is here. Recognizable. Let's see here. Antonio Cortez, who's a regen, but like he's never got like that strong a push. Black Tiger 3, who's Silver King. Enrique Calvo, who's another regen. Jim Knight, who's here as a manager. Sure. Jimmy Hart, who's here as a... Okay, that makes no sense. I'm sorry. Sabu's here. He's been here for 2 years. I'm sure he's totally clean and is not buying shady drugs in here. Supernova, who's here telling... Oh, no, that's different. Supernova. Sorry, I was going to make my joke, but that is not the Supernova I thought it was going to be. So if we go to unimportant, and yeah, so and a look at their size, if we track their progress, like yeah, 80s basically everywhere except for Surete, which I think is south. So yeah, we look at their profile. Let's see here. Do they have stables? Yeah, okay, so they have Retribution, which is Semirko, Chessman, and Crano, which, you know, makes sense. The Click, which is Black Tiger 3, Calvo, Escoria, Lighter, and the Turtle Guy. And the Syndicate, which is Parago Jr., Vampire Warrior, Charlie Manson, and Phantasma. Again, sort of makes sense. And then if we go from medium to medium, okay, so let's go to CMLL first, just because it's the first. Okay, so CMLL, you know, size-wise, they're doing all right. Like, yeah, they're stupidly over, but I forget why. I always forget why. Oh, also, they're losing money, but hopefully, like, if I change it over to TEW9, because if you notice, like, the difference is basically... I think this is both me giving the money in both cases. But yeah, basically, I think the thing is, it's screwy because like they own. I think the game doesn't recognize they actually own the Arena Mexico and Arena Caleso. I'll double check this in game, but like, yeah. Also, the other thing is, here's a big thing: is contract wise. They're paying people a ton of money, which they probably shouldn't be. So yeah, I don't know. I might just have to see, because like this seems to be something with CMLL in every game I've seen. But anyway, for second titles, even though they don't really mean anything in Lucha, we have the Grand Ultradivia, which is was owned by El Hijo del Phasma, the NJPW, which has been won by Negro Casas 2 years in a row. The World Heavyweight Champion, which is held by Tarzan Boy. World Light Heavyweight Champion is held by Shaka. World Middleweight is Octagon. World Tag Team is Arcangel Limite and Bestia Salve, who and 3-time champions are Ray Burkino and El Guerrero. World Trios champions are Mystico, Supernova, and Aerostar. And World Heavyweight Champion is Heavy Metal. So if we look at our roster, major stars include Bisno Negro Jr., Black Warrior, Dr. Riker Jr., Electroshock, Latin Lever, Octagon, Shaka, and Mystico, who's, yeah. I forget. Did the game turn? I forget. Maybe somebody who's been following me remembers. Did I change him into Mystico? Since this happened at the start of the year, I tend to think I did that. Or wait, when did... Or maybe the game did change him. I'm confused. Well, okay, it was a mid-year thing, so I think that was a me thing. Okay, that's fine. But still, he's stupidly over everywhere in Mexico, so we'll see. Yeah. 80 in Mexico, that's really good. Stars, let's see here. Ray Bucanero, Ultimate Guerrero Jr. still there. Well-known folks, let's see here. Aerostar, Asteroid Jr. Francine is weirdly here. Again, somebody who might move away just for the sake of she would not be here. Loki, which is kind of funny. Again, the indie guys of wrestling who all end up here. Mr. Nibla, Negro Casas, who of course will be wrestling forever. 46, still awesome. Let me look at this. Okay, I need to actually probably increase the stats, add the Terry Funk attribute, because he's still wrestling today. Honestly, I should probably put that stat on most luchadors. Recognizable, Apollo Dantes, who... Nope, never mind. Elentas, who, again, somebody who I should probably move up their stats because they're still decent even now at 60. Let's see, Sansieras, who is retired. El Jefe, sure. La Parca is here. Unfortunately, he never really got a push. He never became that guy that he became in real life in Mexico. And yeah, I think that's really about it. Let me see here. Important. Yeah. Teddy Biasi's here. Again, somebody else who I might move away. I wish there was a way, I think there is, to make it so that people who they resign as backstage people actually have to line up to with the actual that would make sense, I think, hopefully. But now let's look at the rest of the so if you notice, lots of Japanese promotions who are big, so that's good for them. So we got All Japan. So All Japan removed their CEO, who was Makoto Bada. So this is just me saying basically, Baba got pushed out by investors and they brought in Fujinami, who of course was basically the number 2 guy in New Japan throughout the early to mid 80s and is now here. And this is a very weird roster. So let's just first look at the champions. So your All Japan Triple Champion is Taiokeya. He's held the belt since defeating Omori at the beginning of the year. Omori won the belt in December, held it till the next year. And he can be like Toro, Suwama, Barton, Suwama, or Mori. What he does there, Unified Tag Champions are Hines and Barton. World Junior Champion is Nunzio. World's Strongest Tag Team is not been pushed. All right. Your Champions Crown World Champion was Yuki Ishikawa. And your All Asia Tag Team champions are Jim Steele and Johnny Smith. So if we look at the roster, what you see pretty quickly is a bunch of, if we look at our major stars. Hase, who's basically should be retired. Hansen, who is retired. Kei, who's, only the one big guy. And Fujinami, who is also, is a just occasional wrestler. Your stars include Too Cold Scorpio, who's old. Kurt Hennig, who is old. Fume Kurarada, who's an All Japan guy. Hayabusa, who didn't break his neck in this universe. Announcer Omori, who's been around forever, and Yuki Ishikawa, who I think was actually recent. And then well-knowns, we have Dragon Kid, who I think was, originally came out through All Japan, who is somebody who has some decent stats, but I don't know if he's ever going to be anything. Drew Tyne, Chip Steele, Johnny Smith, all old Gaijins, Fuchi, old guy, Barton, old guy, Negai, old guy, Araya, old guy, Yoni, who's actually pretty young, but is not getting pushed by the game, Nenzio, Kido, old guy, Okamura, still getting on the old side, Taro, who could get a push, but yeah. So you don't notice the problem. Recognizable. Naruki Doi is interesting. Ricky Fuji is interesting, even though he's older. Robbie Brookside is interesting, even though he's older. And yeah. So yeah. And then if we look at their stables, that's their size. Oh yeah, let me look at their size. So I'm gonna be honest, I should probably push down their size. Well, I'm going to see in the first, I'm going to do a little run after I transfer over to see if their tendencies make more sense to TW9. But anyway, stables wise, we have the All Japan Army, which is Hase, Kea, Yoni, and Fuchi. We have the Axis, which is now done. This is Commonwealth Collective, which is Williams, Steele, Smith, Nichols, and Brookside, and Revolution 2.0, which is Amori, Suwama, Oya, and Ishii. So yeah. Let's see here. Big Japan, which is not as big as you think it is, but yeah, they're big somewhere. Hold on, is this actually okay? Yeah, they're medium. All right. Title-wise, Deathmatch Champion is Tenru. Yes, this is where Tenru opened up. Junior Heavyweight Champion is Jackie Nomazawa, who I don't know who that is. I'll be honest. The tag team champions are Ben Steo and John Zandig. Shinji Okita is the Booker. Let me see it. What's Kojika? Yeah, okay. Intermixed, right. Okay, so basically, yeah, that's what I thought. Roster-wise, though. Major Star. Tenru, Sasaki, Nakanishi. Oh, weird. Did he get signed? Okay, so he'll be gone soon enough. Yeah, his contract has 25 days remaining. Honestly, yeah, we'll see if he has any more matches. And then Hanma, who of course never gets signed by New Japan in this reality, so he gets to be deathmatch guy forever, unfortunately, for him. Or better, because in real life he got that huge injury and never was really the same. So there's that. Yes, John Zandig is here. It's weird. It's weird. Rijihito, Super Shisa. Easy. I'm just going over, guys, see if there's anything of note to show you. Leatherface is here. Men's Teo is here. Shingo Daraki, this is where he ended up instead of Dragon Gate. Let's see here. Recognizable. Abdul Kabashi, Jun Kasai, Shadow WX. And I think that's about it. Yeah. Random Samoa guy. All right, DDT. DDT is interesting because in game they do intergender, which means a whole lot of intergender people around fighting each other. Yeah, no one DDT. Talent trade agreement. So Wrestle Universe 10 years earlier, 15 years early. Title-wise, all right, so your DDT TV champion is Mary Apache, sure. Your tag team champions are Kaguchi and Al Samurai, which makes a weird amount of sense. Your openweight champion is Shibata. And basically, the title has been Hanma or Shibata for basically the last 2 years. And your King of DDT was won by Manaya Toyota. And yeah, if we look at the roster, oh wait, Dynamic Kenzai. But yeah, major stars are Al Samurai, Kaoru Ito, Shibata, Mary Apache, Nosawa, and Tomoka Kato. Sure, your well-known people are Haruto, Genda, Mercedes Martinez, who is weirdly having a good career here. Naoya Aigawa. Wait, hold on. Now I'm confused because where is? Hold on. Yeah. Shibata. Oh, he's only a star. That's interesting. That is very interesting. Anyway, so Bloody Phoenix, Daiju Denyo, and yeah, this is where Dustin Rhodes is. Sure. Yeah, this is a world where instead of TNA, Dustin Rhodes ended up in. Yeah. Sure. Atsuko Mito, Haley Hatred, who's having a good career here over in Japan. Naito Kanashi, Zap T, T, I think is her name. And then we got a whole bunch of bottom right. So yeah, it's a very interesting thing here. Like if we look just like at their show history, their last big show, which was King of DDT. So Maito defeated Keiki Sugiura, Toshimatsu, and Hiroko Forte for the DDT Kingdom title, or Hiroko Forte defeated Shibata in an 87. Like, hold on. Now I have to check, because now I'm actually curious. I wouldn't be surprised if the game hasn't done this game match almost by accident. Okay, so. Also, Shinya Makabe is here instead of becoming Makabe in WWE, or, sorry, New Japan. Where are you? Where are you? Hold on. Shibata, am I being blind? Right, okay, so. Now I'm actually curious. Okay. So yes, we have had two Shibata Toyota matches. Toyota's won both of them. Also, he and Mary Patchy are dating. Sure, why not? Yeah, DD is very weird. Staple-wise, we have the pro wrestling dominant faction of Shibata, Monkey Magic, Takagi, and Shisha, and the women's section unit of Inio, Mita, Keito, Noe, and Yamada. And Hugoto. Sure. Oh, and size-wise, again, big in one region, and that's about it. After then, we have Michinoku Pro, who, yeah, is basically, they're weirdly over all over Japan, despite being, like, actually, like, I'm going to, hold on. Now I'm curious. Broadcast, let me just look at one of their shows, because I think they have a national TV deal, which is what's helping them. Let me see here. Oh god, where do you see broadcasting deals? I'm blanking here. I have nothing. Alright. Interesting. Anyway, sorry. So yeah, title-wise, again, junior heavyweight champion is Kid Guzman, who beat Inoue for the title. Tag champions are Hidaka and Suzuki, who defeat the super team of Nishida and Koyer. Your UWA champion is Shibata. So like Shibata is the king of the indies here. Stable-wise, we are looking at Rich High Society, which is Otani, Collier, and Gato, and the gang, which is Suzuki, Shinzaki, and Guzman. A quick look over of the roster. So, major stars: Suzuki, Hidaka, Shibata, Otani. Stars are this guy, who's a voice, Ri, who's, yeah, sure, and Ellering, who's here for reasons. Let's see, Chad Collier and Nishida, who've been a weirdly dominant team. Larry Zbyszko, who's also here, and Takermass 4, who never ends up in New Japan, unfortunately for him. At least so far. Recognizable, Bruce P-Fake and BJ Gems here are here for reasons. BXB Hulk, who never made it. And yeah, Scotty Juhadi, Rocky Romero, who turns out may not become one of the most powerful people in pro wrestling in this universe. Let's see here. Moving on, we over Noah. 0-1 is interesting because like Otani's the booker, Hashimoto's the owner. Hashimoto, of course, also is lasting longer than real life. If we go to the champions, your tag team champions are Kishiwada and Sai. Your Fire Festival champion has been either Otani or Hashimoto. Your World Dream Heavyweight champion is Shokubo Mukai, who beat Sasaki and then Atsuka. And your World Heavyweight champion is Scott Norton, which I forgot. Yeah, we're going to beat Otani for the title. And he's beaten Otani and Josh Barnett. So that's interesting. Let's see here. View profile. Stable-wise, yeah, we got the Coming Storm, which is Otani, Tanaki, Tiger Mask 4, and Sasaki. Sure. Which is fairly new. Which are sort of, I guess, the Pro Wrestling 0-1. And the low-wise, which is Hashimoto, Atsuka, and Howard. So basically, they beat the shit out of your team. Let's see here. Roster. Major stars is Hidaka Otani Hashimoto. So exactly who do you expect? Star-wise is Akamoto, Mukaki, Barnett, Lance Suzuki, who's here as a manager, and Scott Norton. And well known, let's see here, anybody of note? Tiger Mask 4, Tom Howard, Fujiwara's here. Recognizable, Sakamoto, who hopefully become a guy eventually. Jeremy Lopez, longtime indie guy. Oh, Tank Abbott. Yeah, sure. Because weirdly had a long run. Important is Harley Race, who's here as a road agent, and yeah. I mean, he's honestly one of those guys who actually makes sense in Japan. But yeah, I mean, they're fine. Size-wise, same thing as the other companies. I mean, they're actually like an actual company, like Michinoku Pro, which is funny because Michinoku Pro is right in the name. So yeah. So that's your big companies, and let's move down another notch. So we got small, and we got small. So this is basically everybody. So let's actually do this. Active, well, not inactive, but okay, from USA, small companies. Or, did I check Japan? Okay, so yeah, USA is number 1. All right, so American Western Queens, I honor this. It's my Fed Combat Zone. Is interesting because again, their top guys are Wall, Reno, Amazing Red Brick, Blade, Bruiser Massino, Balls Mahoney, Dixie, John Zandig. So Nick Gage is there. Some other entrance people. Onita's there, but since like this game doesn't do spillover pop, he's just a guy who shows up on the pre-show. Tony DeVito, Necro Butcher. Oni is the booker, which is interesting. Reno's a major star. Yeah, very odd. Tournament of Death was won by Amazing Red. Sure. Heartland Wrestling Association, which is one of WE's dev feds, but also they have other people who are not with the company. So let me just look over some of these people. Aaron Stevens, the future, oh god, Damian Sando, Adam Pearce, future Raji M, Alex Shelley, who's in a whole bunch, who's basically one of the top indie guys in this universe. Barry Bradburn, who's a regen. Let's see here. Chris Mordesky. Excalibur is here, sure. Gumbo Malone, sure. Jimmy Jacobs, I'm sure is ruining creative here, just like he ruined creative in AW, right? Les Thatcher, Kevanto, who's a regen with an insane start quality, which is why I found that guy. Salvatore Tomaselli, The Miz, who is not, who like John Cena has a very weird alternate career. So yeah. Impact going over, IW Puerto Rico, who basically were like Sherry Martell's there, Kendall Windham, James Mitchell, D'Lo Brown, David Young, Lodi, Spellbinder, Major League Wrestling, which again, Jerry Lynn, Mark Merrow, Laz, Militech, D'Lo Brown, Glacier, The Iron Sheik, Violent J, Simon Diamond, Kevin Northcutt, all sorts of fun people there. Let's see, anybody else on the undercard who's interesting? Duke Drosy, sure. Yeah, I don't think there's anybody else really interesting in. Yeah, Van Hammer still around. Demon is still around. Don Harris. NWA New Jersey. Reckless Youth. Mike Quackenbush. So yeah, this universe where Car has not started yet. Pitbull 1. Lash LaRue. Yeah. Again, nothing really much of note there. NWA Wildside, of course, is my my dev fed, which I order. OVW is another company again. So AJ Sparks, BJ Payne, BJ Whitmer, Chris Rambola, who of course we had for a little while, is now there in their dev fed. Corey Castle, Daniel Pewter, Daniel Rodemer, who don't look up in real life if you want some interesting news. Eric Angle, who has retired and is now just doing nothing down there, which I might like have him like delete his like. Wait, who is he with? Okay, I might have him like actually like leave OVW since he's retired. Eileen Chambers, who's a regen, or yeah, who not a regen, but a gen who has like insane skills. Might find a better pitcher for Gabby Galvez, who's a regen with some decent skills. Ives Velez, who is 18, might not turn out to be a terrible person in this weird life. Jerry Jarrett, who's down here, basically, I guess, helping out. Because no TNA in this universe. Well, there is TNA, but it's not TNA you talk about, because it's Jeff Jarrett. Yeah. John Moxley, who weirdly got picked up quickly by WWE. It's weird. Moxley got picked up, like, in 2006 by WWE, even though in real life he didn't get picked up until, what, like, I guess a couple years from now. Well, John Cena, like, sort of just ran, like, with around. Let's see here. Matt Bentley. No Bentley bounce. But he is with a non-real person. Ricky Shane Page, who's not that guy. Russ Haas, who had a sort of sad ending in real life. We'll see. Let's see here. Tom Pritchard. Ty Thomas, a regen with some good stats. Slash. Wolfie DAK. Yeah. Ryan Shamrock, who's around for reasons. So, yeah. Then we move on to Canada. Canada has Warrior City Wrestling, which is basically Scott D'Amore. Mike Whipwreck is the top guy. Has guys like Nova, Tyson Du, Bobby Clancy, Carla Law, Dyson Price, Rene Dupree. Yeah. That's really about it. P. Williams is there. So, yeah. Stampede Wrestling, owned by Bruce Hart. Gabe Zablowski is the booker there because no Ring of Honor. Well, no Ring of Honor. I'll go deeper into it later. So we got people like Stan Lane, Carl Law, some guy named Kevin Steen. I don't know. He'll probably never come to anything. Maronalo. Let me see what they broke. Let's see here. Okay. I mean, that's... I would say that's realistic. Him and Don Callis are no longer friends. I think that's actually probably true in real life as well. And yeah, let's see here. Yeah. Mexico has... Wait, hold on. Oh, okay, that's my fault. That's my fault. There we go. Okay, so Gladiadores is a company which I might need to fix. Their events, because, like, yeah, this is a weekly, like, yeah, I'm going to have to, like, go in and mess with their schedule, because something is, like, weird with their schedule. Lucha Libre, yeah, okay. Weird. I might have to fix this. IWRG, which, like, in this world, has LA Park as a top guy. Supernova, Ultramantis Black, Grego, PJ Black, Nydia, Solar, Abrazo. It is what it is. Termon X, that did not fall apart in this reality, saw Ultimate Dragon still is in Mexico with people like El Dandy, Mujo Mizuki, Rey Mysterio Sr., Black Dragon, Aaron Idol, Skyday, Valente, Valorant 4. So yeah. And then if we go to British Isles, I mean, I'm gonna be honest here. The British scene is not really anything of note yet. A lot of companies, and none of them are that good. I guess the pure, like, yeah, PPUK might have a chance because they have the most money, but, like, yeah, nobody's really, like, gotten big. Japan, A to Z, which is, of course, one of the women's fed. They've been around since 2005. Not really a ton of surprising people on here. Yeah, them and Gay are both around. I may have to, like, double check what the Joshi scene was around in real life in 2006. If you need to update anything. Dragon Gate is Dragon Gate. They have guys like Kagagi, Sema, Agala, Tiger Mask 4, Tiger Emperor, Haruki, Mizuki. Their champions is Ayala, Mizuki, Shingo Takagi is the Open Drink Bait champ. Triangle Gate champions are Stalker, Riseta, and Sema. Twin Gate is Kokuraji and Stalker. And yeah, of course, I've made the wacky stables. So yeah, oh right, I forgot to make it just active. So we got, wow. I forgot I put, like, everybody in the stables. So at Choco Time, which is Choco Flake Keiichi, Mineo Fujita, Ejikari, Kanda and Seno, Fun and Kick, which is Mizuki, Maikami, Ishimori, and Zappa. Heroes Now, which is Darkness Dragon, Tiger Mask 4, Dark Side Hero, Lizmark, Pressure Up, which is Harajuchi, Saito, Fantastic, and Taguchi. Taguchi never got to New Japan. Seikei Monster Club, which is Arai, Majuki, Madoka, Seino, and Shirakarai. Taigi Unlimited, which is Kagagi, Hiroki, Saito, and Tiger Emperor. Violence Villains, which is Aguila, Battle Ranger, Tiger Emperor. Oh, wait. How can you... I didn't realize you're part of 2 stables. That is weird. Suzuki the Great. Wave, which is Sima, Kazuma, Kushida, and Suki. And Wild Boys, which is these guys. Sure. Osaka Pro, which does Osaka Pro stuff. Like, they are what they are. Nothing too fancy there. Europe. Again, they're not really anything of note. The only weird thing is Reno Mero is in EWA. WXW exists. They're not really WXW there, but Chafaguro is there. New Art Wrestling Evolution is there. They're in Iberia. They're not really doing much. So, yeah. Oceania, World Wrestling All-Stars exists. Reno Mero is wrestling for them. And they have a very, very weird roster of nobody like Horseshoe, Shane Haste, Slick Magda Brown, The Future Fandango, all sorts of wacky people. So then, reset things, and we go to Instant Infinite and Tiny, and we start out in Oceania, nobody. Europe, again, more smaller companies. Japan has Pro Wrestling Kingdom, which is our MMA style, Inoki's Dream, but Inoki's not around. The biggest note there is this is where Nakamura ended up. And we'll see if he ends up with anything. British Isles, yeah, again, more things that don't really count. Ricky Knight's here, Sweet Sora's here. Brian Scott. Yeah. And again, if you have any questions about like where people have ended up or, Mexico, nothing. Canada, I believe, has nothing as well. Oh, Canadian Wrestling Federation. So yeah, Kevin has this guy. I'm sure he won't end up as anything. And Grand Saint du Quebec. Which again, some guy, I'm sure he won't turn out to be anything. So USA, one thing I get to create is these indie companies, which is basically just like me trying to get some people involved in having some like extra shows, which should hopefully be made up by like sort of what the game does with indie shows in various regions in TEW9. Full Impact Pro exists, never became like sort of the our feeder fed. We has people like Bagwell, Lynn, Jerry Sags, Kid Romeo, One Man Gang. Chicago Championship Wrestling exists, has guys like Funaki, Ron Waterman, Mufasa Said, Charlie Hayes. All Pro Wrestling is still around. No PWG yet, so it's sort of like still you could argue maybe it's still the top indie fed. I think MLW is around, but it's not really an indie fed. So yeah, All Action Wrestling, which again is something I keep on forgetting to make sure these like they're actually. It's weird. Like I'll move them over and see if the game actually fixes things, but like yeah. Northern Border Wrestling, which is again, all things to all people. Propane, which still exists. Vince Russo is the booker, which is insanely wacky. Like, wait. Oh my god, I totally forgot this. 3BW, which was a sort of like hardcore company, is now family-friendly pro wrestling. That is hilarious. I might actually change that just because that makes no goddamn sense. Yeah. Pro Wrestling Integrity. Well, okay, so I should first explain this. So, again, Ring of Honor was bought by Rob Black, which Rob Fensny is still the owner because that whole thing never happened. I might, I might do that, in changeover, but Rob Black is the booker. But, it's not as different as you think. Ring of Violence is still anti-establishment hardcore, so yeah. And then that means Pro Wrestling Integrity was created by, as sort of an alternate. But because we don't have the indie scene we did in real life, they're sort of stuck. Then also we have Super Gals, which is sort of before Shimmer Shimmer, But again, we have a lot of the good women's wrestler either with us or Impact, so sort of a limited thing. So yeah, one other thing I want to do is go over the people who are over but have no jobs currently in wrestling. So unemployed completely. USA over 75. Bret Hart, who's retired. Dennis Rodman, who's I'll probably change to a celebrity. Karl Malone, same thing. Mike Tyson, again, same thing. And The Rock is left the business. So if we go 50 to 74. So Bobby Heenan, who I think I'll write in his death because getting cancer. Charles Wright, who is again now I think bounced permanently. David Arquette, who again I'll put in as a celebrity probably. Jake Roberts, who's Jake Roberts. Jesse Ventura, who is Jesse Ventura. Shamrock, who's retired. I might unretire him just because in real life he didn't. Ray Traylor, Road Warrior Hawk. Sid Vicious, Stevie Ray. Taka, who's a freelancer. Vicky, who never becomes a person because Eddie's still alive. And Warrior, who's Warrior. Who, again, had a weird end of his career where he wrestled in AAA. Had a pretty solid career, but his last match was defeating Marcos Cabrera at an indie show in Mexico City in front of 1,000 people. Sure. So again, same thing. If we go to unemployed in Mexico, 75 and over. Let me see if there's anybody different. I don't think there would be. Yeah, Alejandro Del Santo, but he also, I think, he's been sort of an indie guy. If we look at Japan, I think it's the same thing. Yeah, so Carl, Shamrock, Tyson, Tagada, but he's Tagada. Is there anybody else who's 50 to 74 who's of note? I don't think so, but I'll double check. Older guys Rotundo, but he's old. Steve Williams, but he's he's retired. Kabuki, Terry Gordy, but he's retired, I think. Yeah. So it's Yatsu, but So, that's it. Again, I'm going to put a post in the community tab and also a post on Reddit for basically Q&A if you want to ask questions. I'll probably do a little again. The plan here is I basically begin. What I'll probably do is create a new database, do some edits in that, and then from there create the thing for TEW9, move that over, and then also I'm going to have sort of some fill-in series. Maybe I'll bring some Journey Wrestling. I'll have something for TEW9. I'll probably just do something wacky in TEW9, just sort of as fun for a couple weeks. Again, won't be full-time because of the holidays and stuff. But by the beginning of the year, again, I'm going to have stuff I want to do a little under 10-minute videos to basically give the history of this version of WCW, which will build up to the return of the series in a few weeks. But before that, I'll just put some wacky stuff. I'm going to really try to do the Pittsburgh Steel Wrestling return. Honestly, I might try to stream that because that'll get me focused. Maybe to do it on stream and then just put that stream up. I don't know. But yeah, that is it. If you enjoyed this, go leave a like, comment below what you're thinking. Of course, I'll have the community tab and the Reddit post up about this. But that's all for now, so talk to you later, and adios. Have a good one.